wondering for any listeners who might really be at the beginning of things, do you have some advice for how bands should go about just finding their first gig and, playing that first gig?
Yeah, I'd say it's something we can break down to like a 4 or 5 part process. I'm trying to go back into my mind now, back to my middle school, high school years of how we grabbed the first. I remember my first gig, I think, was for the Relay for Life, American Cancer Society. And then we did a benefit for St. John's of the Cross. So I guess I'll use these memories and see how this flies. But I'd say the first thing is know what you want to do. Know thyself, as they say all the time. And I believe I've heard this a couple times on your podcast, just really getting a sense for what you're all about. So first figuring out who you are as an artist and what it is in this creation you're going to make. Even if you're going to have multiple bands, what is this one act about? So first I would say would be to know yourself. The second I would say rehearse. I remember that enthusiasm when I was younger of this is going to be awesome and the world's going to love me. I remember thinking that when I moved to New York, I was like, they're waiting there with open arms and everything. It's called showing your gold too early. I've heard it referred to. So I think, the next point is just take some time to rehearse it and really get a clear sense of what it is that you want to do and what you want to put out there. Three, and we'll actually review this as well when it comes to the higher professional level, have a video when you're going to look for your first gig. When I was younger, it was cassette tapes, and burned CDs and press kits. Now, even if you just take a video on your iPhone of your band playing, if you're just starting out, I've booked bands based on that because you can still usually tell, unless the phone is on top of the bass amplifier or something like that. If you sit a little farther away, you get a sense at least, okay, these guys can play or can't. Four, I would say, now that you know yourself, now that you've practiced, think about where you might be welcome and where you might find more fans, wherever that might be. And again, we'll get into more of that with demographics later, but maybe there's another local act that you really admire and you ask them for your first 20 minutes, even your first 15 minutes. If you're a solo artist, it's particularly easy. If you bring your whole band, they probably want a little bit more airtime than 30 minutes. But find an opening slot and stay within your community. I mean, I think that's a great place to grow. It's a safe place to grow and to improve upon yourself. And then I'd say after you do score that gig, let some people know, get some people out so you have some experience playing in front of others. And then be prepared to, have a card or have something. Be prepared to meet people at this first gig of yours, because that's how you're going to get more gigs and how everything will ultimately start to compile.